Blessings and peace for the 21st of May. I read from the Gospel of Matthew, words that may be familiar, from the 5th chapter. Again, you have heard it said, as it was said to the people long ago, do not break your oath, but fulfill to the Lord the vows you have made. But I tell you, do not swear an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for that's the city of the great King. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. All you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond all of this comes from the evil one. Matthew's text here comes from the beginning of what we call the Beatitudes. It comes from the Sermon on the Mount. It comes from that section where Jesus is teaching. And as we are talking about the promises of God, Jesus is teaching on that character of God and those promises. Our God who keeps those promises and who remembers long past our memories. I shared a story from Small Miracles, and now I share another one. This is a story, a woman named Blanche Purcell. Blanche and her husband had a son named Joey. And when Joey was 11, he had developed severe panic disorder and depression, and it caused him to not leave his room. And he did not leave his room for months and months at a time. He was finally able to see a doctor who could diagnose that, and he was able to leave his room. But in that diagnosis, he also was diagnosed with many learning disabilities, and Blanche and her son were able to find a school that would work with him, but the school was beyond their price point, we'll say. Blanche wanted to have her son go to this school, and she was trying to figure out how to do that. And she found herself, amid her worrying, just at an event. And while she was there, she was seated next to a woman who she later learned, her name was Barbara. While she was there, her worry became too much, and she found herself just telling her story to this stranger, Barbara. And she was just, my son Joey, and this is what happened, and on and on. And in her mind, she's thinking, why am I telling this complete stranger? What am I doing? But still, the story is spilling out of her. When she finished, Barbara seemed to understand and, in fact, said, you've told the very right person. My next-door neighbor is, in fact, the person who started the school that you wish to send your son to, and I'm one of their major contributors. So consider your son, Joey, accepted in this coming year. I'll see to it. I'll get back to you. Blanche's indebtedness to Barbara was intense. Joey started attending that school, and Blanche just wrote to Barbara all the time. Each holiday, she would make sure she was in touch with her the day before the holiday, sending greetings and blessings, and that friendship, that relationship grew. She found out that Barbara had 2 children, and she had struggles with her children. One of Barbara's children had some issues with drugs, and the other of Barbara's children also had some learning issues. Over time, it seems that the one who had the drug issues succumbed and had passed away, and Blanche wanted to go to the funeral, and as she came in, she saw Barbara and obviously then the daughter standing there, and as she looked, there was a recognition, and she asked one of the other people in attendance, "Who's standing next to Barbara?" And the woman said, "That's Barbara's daughter, Nancy. Why?" And in Blanche's mind, all of a sudden, she had a very powerful memory of 20 some odd years ago, a young woman named Nancy, who had been brought to their high school, mainstreamed, if you will. Nancy, who was struggling mightily and who wanted to be in a normal school. And so when she came to the high school that Blanche attended, Nancy didn't have any friends and was a social outsider. And they went on a trip, a senior high school trip, and Blanche herself didn't have anyone to room with, and she and Nancy roomed together. And Nancy had no reason to introduce her friend to her mother. So Blanche never got to know Barbara in that context. But that senior year, she had befriended this girl, Nancy. Years went by, and she didn't really give any thought to that. It was just an act of kindness. It was friendship. It was what you do. And all those years later, the God who doesn't forget found a way for kindness in a school situation to be repaid in kindness for a school situation in need. Promises kept. Those who have eyes will see. Promises. We might forget small acts of kindness and generosity and love. The one who sees does not forget. Blanche walked up and greeted Nancy, and Nancy greeted Blanche, and Barbara learned a story of fullness and completeness and beauty. God's promises have amazing ways and lengths of time. Again, may your yes be yes and your no be no, and may your love be what leads you every day of your life. Amen.